Summary of Chapter 6 of You Become What You Think. Chapter 6 of You Become What You Think focuses on the importance of purpose, focus, and consistency in achieving a meaningful life. After discussing thoughts, emotions, self-belief, habits, and confidence in earlier chapters, the author now explains how direction and clarity determine whether a person progresses or remains stuck. The chapter teaches that many people live without a clear purpose. Because of this, they become distracted, confused, emotionally unstable, and easily influenced by others. The author explains that a focused mind becomes powerful, while a distracted mind loses energy and potential. The central message of Chapter 6 is, a focused mind guided by purpose can transform an ordinary life into an extraordinary one. The chapter encourages readers to develop clarity about their goals, control distractions, and remain consistent even when motivation disappears. 1. A life without purpose feels empty. The chapter begins by explaining that many people feel dissatisfied not because they lack ability, but because they lack direction. Without purpose, people often waste time, follow the crowd, feel emotionally lost, and struggle to remain motivated. The author says purpose gives meaning to effort. When people know why they are working, learning, or struggling, they develop stronger emotional endurance. A person with purpose tolerates difficulties more patiently, remains disciplined longer, and recovers from failure more quickly. Without purpose, even small obstacles feel overwhelming too. Clarity creates power. One of the major lessons in the chapter is the importance of clarity. The author explains that confused thinking creates confused action. Many people say they want success, but they are unclear about what they truly want, why they want it, and what sacrifices are required. As a result, they become distracted and inconsistent. The chapter teaches that clarity helps people make better decisions, manage time wisely, avoid unnecessary distractions, and focus energy effectively. The author encourages readers to define personal goals, values, priorities, and long-term vision. 3. Focus is a rare skill. The chapter strongly emphasizes focus. Modern life is filled with distractions, social media, unnecessary entertainment, negative conversations, comparison, and constant mental noise. The author explains that many people lose their potential because they cannot focus consistently on meaningful work. A distracted mind starts many things, finishes very little, and remains mentally scattered. Focused individuals, however, give attention to important goals, avoid wasting energy, and improve steadily over time. The chapter describes focus as one of the most valuable mental abilities. 4. Discipline protects dreams. Another important lesson in the chapter is that discipline protects goals from temporary emotions. People often feel inspired for a short time, but later become lazy, distracted, or discouraged. The author explains that dreams disappear when discipline is absent. Discipline means continuing work even when motivation fades, staying committed during difficult periods, and following routines consistently. Examples include studying daily, exercising regularly, practicing skills, saving money, and controlling harmful habits. The chapter teaches that success is usually the result of repeated disciplined actions rather than occasional bursts of motivation. 5. Consistency is more important than intensity. The author explains that many people work intensely for a few days and then quit. Real growth happens through consistency. Small daily actions repeated over months and years create powerful results. Examples: reading every day increases knowledge, practicing English daily improves communication, regular exercise improves health, and continuous learning improves career opportunities. The chapter teaches that long-term success depends more on regular effort than short-term excitement. 6. Distractions steal potential. A major part of Chapter 6 discusses distractions. The author explains that distractions slowly destroy focus and productivity. People often waste large amounts of time on meaningless scrolling, gossip, overthinking, unhealthy habits, or comparing themselves with others. The chapter warns that distractions create mental weakness because they reduce concentration and discipline. The author encourages readers to protect their attention carefully because attention determines life direction. Where attention goes, energy follows. 7. Time is extremely valuable. The chapter strongly discusses the value of time. According to the author, many people behave as though time is unlimited. They postpone learning, important decisions, personal growth, and meaningful action. The chapter teaches that wasted time cannot be recovered. Successful people respect time because they understand that every day shapes the future. The author advises readers to reduce unnecessary activities, focus on priorities, and use time intentionally. 8. Excuses prevent growth. Another important topic is excuses. The author explains that many individuals blame circumstances, luck, background, fear, or lack of resource instead of taking responsibility. Excuses create temporary comfort but prevent long-term progress. The chapter teaches that while everyone faces difficulties, growth begins when people stop making excuses and start taking action. Successful individuals focus more on solutions, learning, and adaptation rather than constant complaining. 9. Purpose gives strength during difficult times. The chapter explains that purpose becomes especially important during challenges. People without strong purpose easily quit when life becomes difficult. However, people who have meaningful goals continue moving forward despite failure, criticism, delays, or emotional pain. Purpose creates emotional resilience. The author explains that when people deeply understand why they are working, they develop greater patience and endurance. 10. Mental energy must be protected. The chapter discusses the importance of protecting mental energy. Negative influences such as toxic relationships, constant negativity, unnecessary drama, and emotional conflict strain mental strength. The author encourages readers to protect peace of mind carefully. A calm and focused mind performs better than a stressed and distracted mind. The chapter advises avoiding unnecessary arguments, limiting negativity, and spending time in positive environments. 11. Successful people think long-term. Another lesson in the chapter is long-term thinking. Many people focus only on short-term pleasure, entertainment, comfort, temporary excitement, or instant satisfaction. As a result, they neglect long-term growth. Successful individuals often sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term improvement. Examples include studying instead of wasting time, saving money instead of impulsive spending, practicing skills instead of avoiding effort. The chapter teaches that future success depends on present discipline. 12. Self-respect comes from responsibility. The author explains that self-respect increases when people become responsible. Responsibility includes keeping promises, completing important tasks, managing emotions, and taking ownership of life choices. Irresponsibility weakens confidence because people lose trust in themselves. The chapter says mentally strong individuals accept responsibility instead of constantly blaming others. 13. Learning never stops. The chapter encourages continuous learning. The author explains that growth stops when people believe they already know everything. Learning helps people improve skills, increase confidence, adapt to change, and discover opportunities. The chapter advises readers to remain curious and open-minded throughout life. Knowledge combined with discipline creates powerful transformation. 14. Your daily routine creates your future. Toward the end of the chapter, the author explains that destiny is shaped through daily routine. A person's future is hidden inside daily habits, how time is used, what thoughts are repeated, what actions are practiced, and what priorities are followed. Daily discipline creates long-term success. Daily carelessness creates long-term regret. The chapter emphasizes that even small improvements repeated consistently can completely change life direction over time. Main message of Chapter 6. The central message of Chapter 6 is purpose, focus, discipline, and consistency are essential for creating a meaningful and successful life. The author teaches that clarity gives direction, focus protects energy, discipline creates progress, and consistency produces transformation. People who control distractions and remain committed to their goals gradually build stronger and more successful lives. Final conclusion. Chapter 6 of You Become What You Think teaches that success is not created through random effort or temporary motivation. It is built through clear purpose, focused attention, disciplined habits, and consistent action. The chapter encourages readers to discover meaningful goals, avoid distractions, respect time, stop making excuses, and remain patient during growth. The author explains that every person has potential, but potential becomes reality only when energy is directed with focus and discipline. The entire chapter can be summarized in one sentence: a clear purpose combined with disciplined focus and consistent action can transform both the mind and the future.